Boy, there sure are a lot of men in these forests. The Adventures of Robin Hood, released in 1938 and is directed by Michael Curtis and William Cayley, who have also directed such films like Captain Blood, Angels with Dirty Faces, Casablanca, and White Christmas. And this film is starring Errol Flynn, Olivia de Havilland, Basil Rathbone, Una O'Connor, and Claude Rains. And the reason why we're talking about The Adventures of Robin Hood today is because it was a PayPal recommendation from one of my subscribers and contributors on this channel, Zachariah Kennison. Thank you so much for this recommendation. It was a part of your swashbuckling sword fighting bundle that you sent me, and I looked at it and I went, I've never seen this version of Robin Hood, because there's been countless versions of Robin Hood in TVs and in films over the last 100 years, and I'd never seen this version. I think this is one of the first versions that hit mainstream and that was extremely popular. I'm guessing, I'm no expert on the history of Robin Hood, but I would assume that this film was actually pretty damn big, because it's still talked about today. And it's still quite enjoyable. Richard the Lionheart has gone off to fight in the Crusades, leaving the Kingdom of England to his treacherous younger brother, Prince John. And John, being a greedy son of a bitch, decides to tax the entire country to give him all of the monies and all of the food in the lands. But there is one Saxon who is fed up with the unjust taxes, and that is Robin of Locksley, the greatest archer in all the land. So Robin gets his band of outcasts together to take on Prince John and all of his evil forces. And I know for the time, this was spectacular. This was like an original superhero, basically. Someone who sees injustice being performed in his countryside, in his neighborhood, and is trying to take justice into his own hands and right the wrongs and give to the poor. But really, ever since this film in 1938, we've had other things like superhero comics and superhero TV shows and superhero films. Hell, this was 1938. This was the first year that we ever saw the character of Superman. And then on top of that, we get remakes after remakes after remakes of this character of Robin Hood, trying to switch things up a little bit, or trying to tell the real story of Robin Hood, or trying to take a different approach to the legend of Robin Hood. So you get to the point where you're desensitized by this idea of, take from the rich and give to the poor, because we've seen it 100 million times. So if you go into this movie for the first time, you have to take all that away and just appreciate this film for what it is. And this film is such a window into classic Hollywood and classic superheroes, and I love it. Errol Flynn is legendary in this role. He is so charming. You look at him swinging in on his vine, that famous line where he comes on and onto the tree and is talking to the enemy. It's legendary. It's iconic. He's actually a believable archer too. I was believing that he was actually shooting that bow, even though I know he wasn't. And it seemed like he was climbing up the side of the tower, even though I know he wasn't. All stunt doubles. All stunt doubles. The only thing is, that hair is not a stunt double. That was a decision. Whew. It's so flat, and it only goes down so far, and it's waving down there at the bottom. We could have made a better choice there, I think. But what I didn't know, and what was such a pleasant surprise, is Claude Rains is in this movie playing the villainous Prince John. Awesome! He's my favorite classical actor. So to see him pop up here, totally out of the blue, I was like, oh, I'm suddenly into this movie now. And he's great. He plays such a great villain, because his cadence, how he delivers lines, how he says words, it's so light and airy and done with a sense of arrogance and confidence that you just want to slap him, even though you know you can't. Otherwise, you're gonna be hanged. Claude Rains is so great. He is so good here. And I actually captured, on accident, just absolute gold, because when I was watching this movie, my wife called me and I pressed pause, and the screenshot that I paused on is so wonderful. I have not stopped laughing since watching this movie and pausing on that moment. I'll put the screenshot on the screen here, but my god, this face is fucking fantastic. It was right at the end when Richard the Lionheart comes in and reveals himself, and he's in shock. It's just so frickin' perfect. Now, I grew up on Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. That was my Robin Hood film. It's one of my favorite films, actually. It's one of the first ones I remember watching on repeat and memorizing, playing Robin Hood in the basement with my brother, and I was always Morgan Freeman. He was always Kevin Costner for whatever reason. And I'm also a huge huge fan of Robin Hood Men in Tights from Mel Brooks. And I can't tell you how hard it is to review this movie without saying one damn quote from that movie, because it's so freaking hard. It is really cool, though, to see a lot of the references that are referenced in that version of Robin Hood in this original version, because Men in Tights took so much from the Prince of Thieves version of Robin Hood and also the Errol Flynn, this version here. The silhouette of the sword fighting at the very end of the film, they parody that in here, and I'm gonna go, oh, that's where that's from. That's a really cool shot. The archery tournament to bait out Robin Hood, that's from this movie as well. I mean, it proves that Robin's a dumbass, but still, here it is! And the costuming, too. It's all Errol Flynn. So, I mean, this is just classic. This is classic Hollywood, and I love watching it. But my biggest surprise and biggest enjoyment that I had from this version of Robin Hood is the development of the Maid Marian character. Typically, all the other versions of Robin Hood that I've seen, Maid Marian has always just been immediately infatuated with Robin the first time that she sees him. He comes in, and all of a sudden she goes, oh my god, it's Robin. It's Robin Hood. Oh. Here, though, she's not like that. She actually finds him repulsive and disgusting, and it takes a while for her to see the good that he is doing and how these peasant people are actually good, decent, and regular people that you can get behind and you can love. I love seeing that character progression. It gives layers to this character, something that, really, I haven't seen since this version of Maid Marian. This is the best version. I also love that when Robin and Maid Marian kiss in this film, that they're not trying to smush each other's faces. That's what classic Hollywood did. Whenever there was a passionate love scene, how did you show passion? Well, you took your lover's face and you went... Here we get nice, beautiful, and still sensual kisses, without smushing each other's noses into each other. I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. Does anyone know when animal rights laws started being implemented in film, though? Because watching a lot of the stunts and choreography in this film, I feel like there were a couple of horses that got injured. I haven't done research or anything, but you have people jumping off of branches all the way down onto horses, knocking other people off, and they're landing directly on the horse's back. And I know horses are really, really strong, but still, that cannot be good for the horse. Was there shit that went down with PETA or some animal rights group with this film? There has to be. It's a lot of scenes. I just felt bad for the horses. They're there, and all these guys are just jumping on them, and I just felt really bad. The Adventures of Robin Hood is classic cinema, and I had a wonderful time listening to it. The score is great. That classic just orchestra playing everything, and having heroic themes, and seeing classic sword fights. They were hammering each other hard with those frickin' things. This is the original version, and to be honest, I think it's probably the best version. I'm still a fan of Prince of Thieves. That is still my Robin Hood. That's still my Robin Hood film. But going back, what's the best Robin Hood film? I mean, it has to be this one now that I've seen it. I'm going to give The Adventures of Robin Hood 4 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I like it a lot.
Alright everyone, now because my favorite part of my video is where I pick which movie I'm going to be watching next. And the next one comes as a PayPal recommendation from one of my biggest contributors and supporters on this channel, Autumn Blood. You strike again with a recommendation of Hardcore Henry. And actually, I apologize, you changed your handle on YouTube to Name the Stars, so I need to remember, your name is now Name the Stars. Name the Stars, Autumn Blood, there we go, I got it. Hardcore Henry, I believe, was a POV, like, action thriller film that I wanted to see, but I didn't hear great things about it, so definitely interested to check it out for next time. So guys, if you've seen The Adventures of Robin Hood from 1938, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across because of this video, or even better, what's your favorite Robin Hood film? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you on the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of Hardcore Henry. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.